everybody. Bonsoir, bonsoir. It's Ryan. Welcome to Ryan's Gay Chicago. So, headline tonight is Corean Davis calls a disastrous meeting. So, if you don't know who that is, she is I don't think she is qualified. I don't think she does a good job. Obviously, just drive around Harvey, open your eyes. It looks horrible for the most part, right? Unless the private property owners take care of it. The city part of it looks crappy. She's a city administrator. She was hired. She worked on both of Chris Clark's campaigns. She was hired by him. Actually, she's the interim city administrator. She was never confirmed by the city council. So anyway, my guess is that she's been making the decisions. She's been making the calls while during this transition period. I don't know. So to me, I think she called this meeting today. Hold on one second. Shoot, I was looking for something and I forgot what I meant. So I believe she called this meeting today, and I just want to show you the mess on Facebook with this, okay? No, I don't want the videos. I want the actual page. Home. That's not home. No, I want Facebook. Okay, there we go. And I want that. And I want that. Okay, so. You guys are going to laugh. Oh, so unprofessional of the city. She has an agenda. She has the agenda. Yeah, she definitely has an agenda. Hey, Michael. Hey, Crook. All right, so. Starts off this morning, and someone sends me a link to something Colby posted. Good morning, Second Ward, City of Harvey. While I appreciate the public information sessions being hosted, I'm uncertain why residents were not notified at Monday's council meeting on 2/9/26 or even earlier, right? And why later hours were not provided. Residents, please come out if time permits. I will share important updates following the forum. So the City of Harvey had posted this morning on their Facebook page, public info session. Join us today, 4 to 5:30. Info session regarding proposed improvement along Broadway. Remember one of the things I told them to vote no on Monday because they don't need any more freaking money to waste and hide from us? But no, the alderman didn't listen, and I think they all voted for it, which is horrible. Improvements are proposed from blah, blah, blah. I don't even care about what they don't care. They don't care about improvements. They want the money. And this group, the Antero group, they're the consultants firm that paid big bucks to Chris Clark's campaign and re-election campaign, and they get paid huge amounts of our tax money. And what the heck are they doing with it? That's what I want to know. Maybe they're giving kickbacks, I don't know, but they need to be booted. And then it said meeting materials and documentation will be available, blah 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 blah. So I then shared a post, and I said, and I commented on their Facebook, and I said, this is I'll show you what I said. Oh, they did post the video. Okay, I wonder if they edited it though. So I said, this is not acceptable notice for a public meeting. It's too early in the evening for most people. Also, since many are working, City of Harvey, could you please cancel and reschedule this for a better time and give us more notice? And good, I'm glad 9 people liked it. And then I was responding to Diamond Week. I said, right, and they already voted on it on Monday before telling the public anything at all about what they were voting on. Oh, let's see. Did anybody else reply? Oh, yeah. Diamond had said it's not even 24-hour notice. Amanda said, yeah, it's probably going to be, low attendance, a 7-hour notice, and planned too early in the evening. Melissa said, right, this isn't notice. They did it on purpose so not too many people will show up. Yep. And Derek wants to know, which I agree. Well, what improvements are scheduled for 2 blocks on Broadway at a cost of 3.6 million? And I said, yep, this is why I told all the aldermen to vote no to this on Monday. Open the books before Harvey gets any more money to steal. I agree. Mary Ann says, they did this because most of the residents work and they don't care, the city staff. Why weren't the improvements done when Robin Kelly secured the loan? Oh, Allison says she can't see any comments in here, but Ryan's from Moscow. Okay, interesting. So you think, okay, well, that's a shame, but it's done, right? No, it's not. Then Colby posts, wait, let's see, can we find it? Oh, yeah, and I had commented on something else. Wait, let me find the original one. Oh, that was the fire. Okay, yeah. So Colby posted this in the morning. I'm sorry, let me make sure I catch up with the comments. What up, folks? Cook County TV wishing everyone well. Thank you, Cook. So I saw Colby's saw her post, shared it. Then she shares, oh, sorry guys, it's canceled. So I shared that. I'm like, okay. Then a little bit later, she posts this: Second Ward, City of Harvey, please pardon the back and forth of meeting being canceled then not. Upon speaking with our mayor pro tem, that's Shirley Derwinski, due to previous and unknown time constraints, she probably meant. If today's meeting is not held, we would lose the grant for the Broadway Improvement Project. Oh, tough shit. Lose the grant. We don't need any more money for these people to steal, Harvey. And so then she said today's meeting will be held at 4. And then I made another comment. I said, what are they doing at City Hall? This is highly unprofessional and disrespectful to residents and businesses. Shirley Derwinski, why is this so last minute and rushed? And then, let's see, what else? Melissa said something. She said, they're so disgusting. I agree. She said, it seems as if maybe informing the people was only an afterthought. And then I said, yeah, they should have this meeting before it's voted on. So they already screwed that up. How long have they known about the deadline? All valid questions, right? All very valid questions. So it's just a mess. I honestly don't, like I said, from my sources and from what I'm seeing, I'm thinking that Korean is running a lot of this and it's a mess because of her. But, time will tell, right? We'll see. She's definitely guilty no matter what. Okay, so then Colby did take a video of it. Let me see. Oopsies. Oh, that is cool. Yeah, I'm glad she shared this at the Wind Creek Casino. They're having an open mic night on Thursdays in February. Isn't that interesting? The entrance is saying they're going to expand. Okay, so Colby's video is about 31 minutes. Okay. Can you guys see okay? Should I zoom in some more? So let's see how it went.
Also with Pantera Group. I don't know if Rick was going to join us. He'll be out in a minute. Okay, sounds good. So our agenda today, we're going to go over the project area, some of the history of how we got to the design of this project, existing conditions of.
Let me know if you guys can hear this okay.
That we're going to be working on.
Well, this is what I couldn't go because it was just too much of a mess.
Schedule, and we'll have some significant time for question and answers. It's going to be a fairly short informational presentation, and then plenty of time for questions as needed. So. All right, so our project area, 2 blocks. We're going from 153rd to 155th on Broadway. We'll be looking at transit access improvements, bike pedestrian improvements, and then utilities, so water, sewer, and then full depth reconstruction of the road. Why are we looking at this section of Broadway? So this is the culmination of many studies that have been done over the last few years and
really?
updates to capital improvement plans. So we have going from early estimate complete streets and trail plans. It's a part of the CMAP 2050 comprehensive plan. As I mentioned, City of Harvey consistently working on their capital improvement programming. And then in 2021, there were some parallel strategy plans, both for complete streets and for parked open space. And then in 2022, we had the transit-oriented development plan, and then just this last year in 25, the Harvey comprehensive plan. So when these plans were passed, before my time in intro, but there's significant public comment.
Right. I was going to say, now this young lady, again, these people just want to get paid, okay? And I'm not even going to blame her. I'll blame her bosses. These are look like three younger white people. They're just being paid to do this project. They probably know nothing about the fact that Antero Group and Clark and his buddies have been raping and pillaging and looting Harvey for several years. Like she said, she doesn't know because she didn't work on this. So let's just start with that, okay? Hold on one second, though, because I want to bring up... hold on. We might have an easier time watching the City of Harvey's feed. Let me see. I'm surprised they even did a feed, honestly. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's much better. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
How was that?
Even louder? Even louder. All right. So we are going to
That should be a
talk
lot.
through this is an engineering presentation. All right, so our project area. Time for question and answers. It's going to be a fairly short information. Why are we looking at this section? Studies that have been done over the last updates to early estimate complete streets and trail plans. It's a part of the CMAP 2050 comprehensive plan. As I mentioned, City of Harvey consistently working on their capital improvement programming. And then in 2021, there were some parallel.
All without real significant impact or, input from residents or businesses, by the way, okay? So bullshit. It's all been what Clark and his thieving buddies have wanted, all these plans that they put together.
Strategy plans, both for complete streets and for park open space. And then in 2022, we had the transit-oriented development plan, and then just this last year in 25, the Harvey comprehensive plan. So when these plans were passed, before my time at intro, but there was significant public comment period for those. Part of one of the...
No, there wasn't. They brought in mostly seniors that were buddies with the mayor. That was the majority of the public comment. So again, total bullshit. They need to start over. And it's really sad because, I'm an urban planning person. So I believe in comprehensive plans. I believe in getting community input. But these leeches and Antero Group, they're just as guilty because they're taking all the cash. And who knows, they could have been splitting it with Clark or others. Because again, City of Harvey won't open the book. So we don't know how they're spending our money, like exactly how much and for what is going to Antero Group. So they're all fucking guilty.
Streets that was identified as needing improvement and utility improvement, access to transit improvement was this section of Broadway. So, what has been done to get to this point of the project? So we did a phase 1 design. For those that are not familiar with what phase 1 design is, it's part of the IDOT process that you do a conceptual early design, you get all of your survey, make sure that the design is feasible, and that gets approved by IDOT. Then you move, once that approval is completed, then you move into your second phase of design, which is the detailed design, all of your engineering schematics, full, complete, ready for construction plan. So that's also been completed and is
completed without consulting the freaking people. And by the way, we don't want this, even though it might be good right now. We want other things done first. If you talk to most of the people, they want streets repaved, they want lights fixed, they want garbage picked up, they want these houses, empty houses, to be put on the freaking market so that people can buy them and fix them up. That's what the city should be doing, instead of spending time, millions of dollars on a few blocks. You know, and I say that I'm all up for urban density and fixing our downtown. I'm all for that, but they're doing this the wrong way. They're doing it for the money. It's about the money. They don't care about any of this shit.
Working on being submitted to IDOT. So that's the phase that we're at now, is the completion of that full design. Once that is approved by IDOT, it will go through their letting process. So IDOT will be doing the procurement, getting the contractor for the project. The funding for the first phase was through the Regional Transit Authority. The funding for the second phase was through the County Department of Transportation and Highways. And then the funding for the construction phase, when that is let, will be through the State Surface Transportation Locals Program.
Could we get those buildings too?
The buildings that are rendering here, right? Take us back in time. I know, it looks quite quaint, doesn't it?
And it also looks outdated.
It is historic. So it is the project.
Oh, okay, Michael. Yeah. So this was, again, this was an older photo that they're using, which is funny because they probably got this stuff from the Harvey Historical Society page or something. They're so full of it.
Project history. All right, so existing conditions. So Broadway is a north-south collector, 50 feet wide. You have 2 lanes, 1 lane of traffic in either direction. We are stop controlled at 153rd and 154th, and then traffic light controlled at 155th. Speed limit of 25 miles per hour. The water, sanitary, and stormwater all need improvement, and the pavement, because our snapshot here, is in need of repair. So, Yeah, you agree. So, full depth reconstruction of the road, not just a mill and overlay, but a full depth reconstruction is included in this plan. So, proposed improvements. So, coming soon is the Harvey Transportation Center. So that construction is expected to follow immediately after the Broadway street construction. So that one of the focuses of this project was improving the access to the transportation center as we worked on the design for the Broadway improvements. So including those improvements to the transit center access, and then also the bike and pedestrian access along there. Water system improvements include 100 linear feet, 1,400 linear feet of utility improvements. Those include 8 inches of water main, and 12 water valves will be replaced, and then separating the combined sewer, we'll be adding a new 24-inch storm sewer so that the septic sewer is no longer combined. That'll include installation of 20 stormwater catch basins for the new 24-inch storm sewer line. Your full depth road reconstruction, and then the installation of fiber optic cable.
Oh, we actually can kind of read it a little bit.
What's that last part again?
Fiber optic cable, so for your internet.
That's the next question. Forgive me, I'm eating a snack while we watch this riveting presentation.
So, as you mentioned, the road condition is needs improvement, and if this is part of those comprehensive plans to enhance the downtown. We've got the rendering of the building that is now actually constructed, and part of the.
This poor girl, she doesn't even know what's going on. They just said, here you go. Here's your job, honey. Present this tonight.
Overall Harvey vision to be improving the community. So excited to have this project be through design and going forward the construction process. Schedule. So construction schedule, it's planned to start.
Michael says, the same chair was still blocking the emergency exit, right? I'm sure. You mean Corean Davis, our city administrator, who makes 6 figures and gets to drive everywhere in a brand new city car that we pay for, even though she lives next door in South Holland? You mean Corean Davis didn't fix that? She didn't move the chair out of the way of the emergency exit? I am so shocked. He said with sarcasm.
Fall of this year, so that'll be dependent on the IDOT procurement process. So we're submitting the final designs ready for construction, and then the IDOT process of letting, so that's expected to start construction in the fall. We're doing some pushes. We'll see if it can happen any earlier, but it looks like it's going to be in the fall. Project will start with utility relocates, which have minor effects on traffic, and then there will be 2 phases of road reconstruction. So the first phase will leave the intersection at 153rd open, and then the second phase, this phase will have Broadway shut down from 155th to 153rd, but the intersection at 153rd will remain open. And then in phase 2, Broadway will be.
And can you imagine all of this mess? Do you remember how many businesses we lost because Clark closed down 154th Street, and it was closed down way longer than it should have been? It's another damn project they want to do just to take our money. I have no patience for this. Harvey residents, you better get riled up. I'm coming to those meetings, and you better be calling your alderman. You know, maybe we'll do some letter writing campaigns. You think that would make a difference? What if we just stuff these aldermen's mailboxes with actual mail, and you write out how you feel in letters? Ooh, how about that? I like that idea. Maybe we should try that, you guys.
Reopened, and just the intersection at 153rd will be closed. We have a couple of figures following this to see what that looks like. The detour route will be through either Park Avenue or Center. So you can see here, you're welcome to.
Oh, what a lovely detour route. By the way, did you know they voted to close Park Avenue? So you won't be able to take Park Avenue between Sibley and 159th. That's a big main route. You can still go north to south, but the way that they want to do it, which I oppose, is they want to reroute all the traffic onto Broadway, which I just don't think it's meant to handle all that traffic. Could possibly be a strategy that would work, but the way they do it, everything is so effed up, and they're telling us what they're doing instead of involving the residents. It's just, and like I said, it's for the money.
I can take a look after the presentation, but our Broadway improvements go through this intersection here at 155th up to 153rd. So this is the detour route. You'll use either Park or Center while the construction is happening between 155th and 153rd intersection to remain open. Second phase, once that construction is complete, Broadway will be reopened, and just the intersection here in 153rd and Broadway will be closed. All right.
Oh, questions and answers. This should be good.
That is the overview. So maybe flip back up to 2 slides back. This one. Probably the best visual of the actual section for Q&A.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm gonna run right off the bat. All right, first of all, if you're gonna put new water lines down on the floor, on the 2.5 blocks, you're gonna lead into the old lines that are out there.
Yes.
That don't make any sense. Because if the old is old and you're putting new, then it's making a mess out of that. 2, you mentioned that they were going to be putting fiber optic cable underground, but most of the houses around here don't even have fiber optic. We don't have fiber optic around here, period. And most of the stuff that goes to the houses is on the power lines for Comcast or AT&T or whoever. Will there be more fire hydrants out there? I think that's what should be looked at. Will the speed bumps stay or go? Because we got one right out here in the front. If we're gonna make it all smooth, we don't need speed bumps. Are we gonna get new signs? Street signs? Street lights? Whatever
Streetlights,
else
what are those?
I'm writing my list so that I can respond to them in kind.
It's fine.
We don't do streetlights in Harvey.
Stop signs,
projects
stop
to get
lights,
money from.
new signs so people know where we are when we need to know where we
Oh
are.
no,
at.
we don't do that in Harvey either.
Will there be cameras up there? I know I'm going too fast for it.
I know, you're rapid fire, we gotta go in more individual. So, old lines to new lines. We have to replace things in stages. So you're correct that when we replace a certain section of water line, what does that mean for the old line? It means that becomes the next priority of project. So that will be, I would have to look back and get back to you on whether that has already been allocated or if it's up for our review of the next project. Again, fortunately only presenting on the engineering of this project, but I know that City of Harvey is regularly working on, let's get funding for the next stage so that as part of that comprehensive plan, we do have full utilities replaced, right? But we do have to do it in chunks just for the amount of funding available.
We've had several
Oh,
water
you
mains
should
break
put a
in
white
the
boy, but
last-
I think these guys are like totally like they probably do not want to be here. They're like, why did they send us to Harvey? All the senior people are probably like, haha, you guys get the crappy job, but they don't care. They're all just here for the money. They just want our money. This is the very definition of gentrification, okay? And I'm not saying you can't use consultants. I'm not saying you can't, have people that are from out of town help, or you can't have white people that are from out of town help. No, but in this circumstance, that is what is happening. This is textbook gentrification. Corean Davis, Ramona Simpson, Shirley Derwinski, the other three Audrey Yesman, they all put this thing in motion with Chris Clark. And Terror Group, like I said, they've been raping us. They've been helping to rape Harvey for years. But what's crazy is that, people like Nina Graham from District 205 will try to call me racist to shut me up. And who's really racist? All these black leaders, they're bringing in these out-of-town white people to help rape and pillage a mostly black and Latino town. Who's racist now? And it ain't me.
Many months here, and that means the water main is breaking. That means whatever the new street will mean that it'll have to be torn up again to fix the water main.
So yes and no, right? So the breaks are happening because of the age and deterioration, right? So by replacing and putting in a new pipe, then we are solving that problem within those blocks. And that's why we need to be continuing on those capital improvement plans to then also be upgrading the
Translation. We don't care. We're just here to do this project to take your money.
next section so that we don't have to just bring it for every block, but those will be considered in the next phases of capital improvement.
Yeah.
You asked about fiber, so I don't have a good answer on what everyone is using for internet access right now, but it's one of those things that when you have the road torn up and you're putting in the utilities, it's very easy to run another cable versus coming back later and digging it up again to put in a fiber line when it is ready. So while you have everything torn up, go ahead and put in all of the utilities that you have. Wondering if hydrants, I'll have to double check with my engineering team on whether we are proposing any new hydrants. But good question. I know we're proposing new valves so that there is better control.
Fire hydrants? What are those? We certainly don't have those in good shape in Harvey.
And valves signage, yes. Both wayfinding and stop signage is a big part of this project because of that emphasis on the access to the Harvey Transit Center. So having sufficient signage along that block so people know how to navigate, whether it's to the base station or to the metro station. So quite a bit of signage included there. I will also have to check on whether there is additional lighting included in this phase or whether that's a
Solomon asks, why is gentrification a bad thing? I need to research further, don't understand negative perceptions. Development and gentrification are not always bad, but I guess, yeah, if I'm talking about it in a negative light, it's the looting of communities and it's the displacement. Did you watch Bad Bunny's Super Bowl show? Partly why it was moving for me and a lot of people is because he talks a lot about fears of people having to leave Puerto Rico or not being able to afford to stay there or come back because development occurs, but it's always at the expense of those who are already there. And it's meant to replace those who are there and to make things way too expensive. And it serves as a predatory form of development where you're doing projects, but you don't really care about improving the city. Or it's all about, like I said, they just want money from these projects. Yeah. And gentrification, you don't see the connection with his show and gentrification? Oh my goodness, boy. Now don't make me get Bad Bunny out again. That was like a huge purpose of his show. Like one of those songs, I'm not a Bad Bunny expert. I just read some of the analysis articles. Rolling Stone has a good analysis article. But one of them, that one that's Debbie Tirar Ma Fotos, he's saying basically, I should have taken more photos of Puerto Rico when I was younger. He was speaking like as if he's older because of all gentrification that has occurred. Like all the natives are gone; they can't afford to live there, and basically it's become like a sterile, like what happened to Hawaii. They don't want that to happen to Puerto Rico, because a lot of the Hawaiians and their way of life just got totally like ruined. They got displaced because of this gentrification, outsiders coming in. A lot of vacationers. It's a real, just if you look up the situation of Puerto Rico and how it's treated, it's a very exploitative system, unfortunately. Houses get fixed up instead of sitting empty and falling apart. Property values go up. Homeowners build wealth. New stores, restaurants, and jobs come to the neighborhood. If you do it, you can do that in a responsible way. Yes. Most politicians don't care about that. Again, it's about making money for themselves and their developer friends. And those are people that are out of town, The kind of development I want to see involves people that live in Harvey. We have people that already own businesses who want to expand. We have people who own businesses that the mayor and his buddies have shut down for extortion purposes because they want the land. We have tons of contractors with businesses in Harvey. Why are they not allowed to bid on all these empty properties and fix them up? They should be able to do that. They should get first dibs. You always want local businesses, local ownership, local involvement first, always. But you'll notice that under Clark and with his allies, they would always give houses, land, resources. They always go to outsiders. No one in the city, unless you're connected to, to one of them, gets any opportunity to do that. So that when people talk about negative gentrification, that's what they mean. I guess we have different experience. You can't compare the U.S. to Puerto Rico in those terms. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, man, you got to go read the Rolling Stone article analysis. It's very interesting. But basically, yeah, the United States government has, continuously, just as we've done with Native Americans and everything, has continuously raped and pillaged Puerto Rico as well. They actually, when we took over the island, they had an independent economy where they were growing all the food they needed on Puerto Rico. And when we took it over from Spain, we brought in, the United States government brought in big sugar companies, and they kicked out all the farmers, the subsistence farmers that were growing all the food they needed to eat on the island, and replaced it with sugarcane plantations. So they remade the whole island so that now they can't feed themselves. They have to import all the food they need. And then I forget what it's called. Is it the Jones Act? Oh, Crook should know. Come on, Crook, you're Puerto Rican. But they passed this act which basically says, okay, they have to pay these huge taxes on all their imports, and they have to come like only from American sources and da 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 da. So basically, the U.S. government took away their ability to farm, to feed themselves. So they have to get food from outside, but now they have to pay a huge price for it. Rico is part of US, but real estate is different. Yeah, but the similar concepts apply. It's very similar. Okay, let's go back.
Separate phase. We can take a note on that. And I also do not know the answer on cameras, and I'll have to get back to you on that one. That's not a part of the so I'll have to get back to you.
I know you said September start though.
It's supposed to take a year. I know we all
2-for-1 deal.
normal funding, so good deal. So it'd be nice. Other questions?
Is 155th Street part of, is the street gonna be cut off? Is it gonna be a dead end or?
Yes. So I don't know if we can zoom in here, but basically it'll dead end at this intersection, so you will need to go around to 150. I've got my directions off. 156th or 153rd. So
Not just for the detour, I'm talking permanently.
Oh, nope, just for the detour.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the detour. It'll be open
Impacted by this shutdown beginning in September.
along 155th.
Or pardon me, from 153rd to 155th on Broadway. How will they be impacted?
You mean their access to the road and how they'll drive? So
For
that,
customers coming into their business.
right, so that'll be a part of our review of, it's kind of part of construction methodology. And so I would say that will be part of reviewing the contractor bids, is making sure that they have a plan for maintaining access. But from the design standpoint, we don't have that answer yet. It'll be something to work through with the construction plan.
Y'all make a lot of money.
And so you spoke about bids. So this has now been approved. We're having today's meeting to follow all the steps according to what the grant requires. And so then is a bid, the bid, is that going out following today's meeting or?
It'll be bid out by IDOT.
By IDOT?
Yeah. So we will submit all of the engineering documents for them, but then IDOT will do the actual bidding.
And are there going to be any additional funds procured for this project? are we applying for any other funding for completing the Broadway improvement project?
Not that I'm aware of, at this time, so, not that I'm involved in.
Just confirming, what has already been approved, it was about roughly $3.9 million we voted as a council on yesterday or Monday. That is all funding dedicated to the Broadway improvement project?
Question.
Yes.
I was like, as the engineer, I don't know, but, Francis.
So what you got on Monday, so 3.6 million is all dedicated.
3.6, pardon me.
Right, yeah.
Okay, real good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Notice that Korean was there and Shirley Durinsky was not there. She's the mayor pro tem. Where is she? Hey, Denise. Okay, you can hear it. Good. Hey, Diana. Yeah, so we're just going over this meeting from earlier. I'm sorry. I'm eating. My eating's too loud. Just let me know. I'll mute it.
If I may, just a point of suggestion, that's why I asked you where you, Ms. Randall. We were just notified about today's meeting. And I understand based on the timeline that it had to be done today or else we lose the grant. So I'm just asking moving forward that in Terra, when you all send it out to the businesses, because those are the direct people that would be affected, that you also notify the alderman.
Okay. Now, for this part, I want to go to darn it. How do I make it bigger? Bigger without ruining this thing. Okay. Just so you guys can see a little bit of who Corean Davis is.
A particular
I'm going to go back to Colby's footage.
Working our way through, so this is the first phase, and also the interaction with the new.
I want to make sure I got the same timing. What timing is that? We're at about 19. Okay, sorry, I went a little bit ahead.
And 55th be impacted. 153rd will
From the design.
now been approved. We're having today's meeting to follow all the steps according to what the grant requires. And so then is
We will submit all of the engineering documents.
applying for any other fund.
Not
So
that I'm involved in.
just confirming what has already been approved. It was about roughly $3.9 million we voted as a council on yesterday or Monday. That is all funding dedicated to the Broadway improvement project.
Yes.
I was like, as the engineer, I don't know, but.
Notice Antero Group, they must be smart enough to not want to totally, be on the hook for all this. She doesn't want to say it. Korean says it. Oh, yes. Really? So we don't know how you spent millions, all the millions that you've got in the past 7 years. Why would we believe that you're going to spend this more than $3 million for work on a few blocks? Why would we believe anything you say about where the money's going to go? Corean Davis.
So what you got on Monday,
Mhm.
3.6 million is all.
There she is. This is Mr. Mona with her fake ass smile. Oh, good. Ms. Zirk showed up. And this is Jackie Clark. And this is Corean Davis. So she's the one that drives that has that 6-figure salary. But don't worry, Ramona makes a lot too. And they both drive those Dodge Chargers home that you pay for. And we probably pay to gas them up and get all the work done on them too. Yeah.
All dedicated to.
3.6, pardon me.
Broadway, yeah.
Okay, real good. Thank you. So notified about today's meeting. And I understand based on the timeline that it had to be done today or else we'd lose the grant. So I'm just asking moving forward that Antero, when you all send it out to the businesses, because those are the direct people.
Yeah, can you believe that? City announces it today and then says supposedly they have to do it, otherwise they won't get the grant money. That is bullshit. That is not how you manage a city. That's called we're greedy assholes and we want your money.
That would be affected, that you also notify the alderman, notify the city, I didn't receive that, pardon me.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me give this to the dog, because let's see, maybe they're going to get into it. Korean and Colby. Your puppy, here, you can have these. Okay. Oh, I have my snack so I can survive. All right. This is why I wanted to share her feed. I know the audio might not be as good, but I wanted to be able to, because the other camera wasn't panning to show us anybody else.
Okay. Can I finish my segment, Corinne? Because you're cutting me off. We did, but I hadn't spoken with her. So that's very rude.
Ah! It was very rude. And then Korea says, I know I'm an asshole.
It's very rude for you to ask an engineer something about city business.
Oh, girl, you did not even. First of all, you don't even live here, okay? You live in freaking South Holland. You make way too much money. You're a horrible city manager. You do not need to be telling an alderman anything, or a citizen, or anybody, anything about what sort of questions they can and cannot ask. Ooh, girl, you need to get.
Why would that be rude? She's here presenting. Well, whomever responsibility it was, you dropped the ball on it. So as I was stating before, I was rude.
Wow. Ooh. Not very nice. Girl who doesn't even live in this town, makes tons of money off raping us and pillaging our town.
Be interrupted. It is ideal for us as a community. I'm sure more folks would have been here today had it not been at 4:00. Our council.
Yeah, I would have been there if it wouldn't have been called for 4:00 the same freaking day. Lying thieves.
Council meetings are at 7 p.m. So my ask is just that when you are putting out the information, that is put out community-wide and at a time that can be widely attended by the community.
Exactly.
We may have more questions to provide at that time.
Thank you.
Duly noted. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that girl, you know, they're so awkward. They're probably like, oh, we want to go home now, man.
What was the determination? Okay, yeah, this will be going back to like the history and the other pages on here. To determine your Broadway here being done, what was the deciding factors besides the age and the amount of populace?
I mean, the road condition is a significant factor in.
Why Broadway, right? Essentially, why Broadway? I mean,
why Broadway? Right, exactly, yeah. And again, they don't freaking care. They just want that money, honey. No Apology says, why do we have a city manager and a mayor? Yeah, I mean, that's not uncommon. However, it is a valid question, especially given how much money our mayor makes. Remember how angry Mayor Clark got last year when I said, oh, you know, you make 6 figures. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. Well, that's what it said when, you know, the figures that I got from IMRF. And I think he went back and changed some figures, because then when I FOIA'd them again, I got that, you know, then I got a lower salary. And I'm like, oh, what did you do? Move some things around? They get paid way too much money, considering then you have a city manager who's making 6 figures. Like, no. Go Colby, me too. Yeah. It was just, you know, Korean's super rude.
for the amount of money that's being spent out here, I mean, tearing up all the water blocks, 2.5 blocks, whatever the number's gonna be, problem's still gonna relate that, we already talked about it, that they're going from new into old, and the new is gonna be the strong guys, the old is gonna be the weak guys, and it could also turn around and backfire.
Yeah, so the project does need to be done in chunks, right? The amount of funding that you can get at a particular time. And so we do look at prioritizing, starting at a particular end and working our way through. So this is the first phase, and also the interaction with the new Harvey Transit Center, wanting that.
Here,
Thank you.
let me have your help.
Yes, thank you.
So, a part of the grant requirements, you have to do certain roles, a part of the grant. This particular grant is asking for a transit-oriented development portion of the city to be done. Since we have the metro station, they've already been done, this is a natural next street. So we can apply for the 3.6 million, or we cannot. So we can either get new stuff and get you new infrastructure underneath, although the rest of it is still old, or we keep it all old. So if you're saying it's better to just keep it all old, I get it, but a new system will hold more water and it will sustain over, these water lines are supposed to sustain over a 20 to 30, 40 years.
First of all, I think this is the most that I've ever heard this woman, who I think we're learning now that Clark is, allegedly out of the picture as far as we know. Corean Davis, that's why I put her in the title tonight. She may be controlling a lot more than we think. This is probably the most that I've ever heard her speak, though. Isn't it interesting that they just take all this money and do all this and rape and pillage and burn, and this is probably like the most we've ever heard her interact with the public. They hate us. They do not like the people. They are here to take from us. They literally put us in jail. They ticket us. They fine us. They do not want to hear from us. But it's just interesting. I'm like, this is the most that I've ever heard her actually talk, in front of people. She's usually behind the scenes doing all the damage. Why didn't you let the people talk? Yeah, well, good question.
Year period.
So you're gonna take a 20, 30-year-old period and add it to something that's 60 and 70-year-old and expect it to respectfully work with each other.
Absolutely. I mean, we have no other choice. We have a full city. We can't replace all the lines in the city at one time.
And you know what? Maybe she has a valid point there, but we know that we can't trust you, Korean, because look what you guys did. Look how you totally effed up 154th Street. You tore up and sold off our extremely valuable old brick that was there. If you notice now, the street is sinking in several places. Because they took that amazing brick that had lasted for more than 100 years and was still, when they uncovered it, it was still like arched properly and everything, for drainage. So they took that up. They took up the historic tracks for the streetcar. They did a whole bunch of work down there. They put those little bump outs with the plants that people don't really like and we didn't really ask for. But again, they don't ever ask us because they don't live here and they don't care. Corean does not live in Harvey. She does not care about you or me or anything that happens in Harvey. She is here to make money and take from us.
This one street is 3 million. So do we not?
For 2.5 blocks.
Absolutely. 3.6 million. So very close to 4 million. So are you saying don't do anything?
I didn't say that, but I think it needs to be reevaluated, re-looked at, and see what other streets that are mainly are in disarray.
Yeah.
I think you need to look at the fact of getting rid of the speed bumps
Good job, Michael. Yay. I'm so proud of you that you did not back down and you raised valid points. Hey, Wyoming. So thank you so much for doing that. Because you know they called this meeting last minute so that me and a lot of other people that had a lot more questions. They didn't want us to come because they don't care about you, Harvey. When are you all going to get this through your heads? We need you to show up to meetings. We need you to be loud and proud. We need you to speak up. These are leeches. These are vultures. These are vampires. They will literally believe the city drive everything if you do not get involved. They will not stop. Do you understand what I'm saying? They will not stop. Listen to how Korean talks to an alderwoman who's elected by the people and a resident who pays her salary. Do you hear any sort of respect in her voice? Do you hear any sort of concern? I don't.
Well, that has nothing to do with the grant. We either apply, the grant doesn't give.
In order to fix up the streets, you gotta get rid of the speed bumps, because you got a speed bump sitting right out here in the front. And in fairness, driving down this street here is not that bad in comparison to the rest of the town.
It sure isn't. And remember when they ripped up 154th Street? And I told him, I mean, there are other people too, but I'm trying to get other people to be louder. We need more people to come out and speak out. But I said, no, you do not need to do 154th. Don't you dare tear up that street. That was one of the best maintained streets in the whole city. And they did it. And it was closed for, I forget how many months. And we lost a lot of businesses from our downtown because of it. And we didn't even need the project done. It's being done because they want to take the money from these projects. They don't care. Stop assuming the best of these people. They don't care about what they tell you they're doing in the projects. They want the money from them. That's all they want.
No. Don't do it.
You tell her, Michael. Let me see. Was Ramona being sassy with you? Ramona?
I'm not.
Give me 1 second. Jesus. I want to finish answering your question because.
Jesus, that's right. Mazurk's like, what is going on?
The grant has nothing to do with the speed bumps. It has nothing to do with pipes or sinkholes either.
You're not in it, just her.
We had to meet the requirements of the grant. The grant says it has to be a transit-oriented development. We picked the best street that we possibly can. So either we want the money.
The best street that we possibly could. Corean Davis, let me correct that for you. You picked the best street that you wanted to get your hands on our money. Thank you, I corrected you.
We don't want the money, but to say we could pick a different street, I mean, all the streets are bad. All the infrastructure is bad. The road here, the pipes has not been.
No, Korean. You are greedy. And you're not a Harvey resident. And that's not true. Not all the roads are equally bad. Broadway is not in that bad of a shape compared to other streets.
Been replaced in over 100 years. So whether you see it or not, or whether you see a sinkhole or not, all of them need to be replaced. So this is just where we are. We're just trying to give you the information that we have.
It's just where we are. Well, I know where you are, Korean. You live next door in South Holland where they don't have any sinkholes and all their streets are well maintained. Do you think that the South Holland Village, the trustees, the board there, do you think they would ever listen to an effing thing that you would have to say about managing a city? All they have to do is take one look at Harvey and see all the disrepair, the fires. You and your overpaid colleagues are still working while almost half of our police force, almost half of our city staff altogether, including police and fire, are laid off. But your ass is still in there making six figures and driving home a city car. Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice for you? But I have a real hard time believing anything or respecting anything you have to say because your actions are so horrible. I don't think anybody in South Holland government would listen to a word you have to say about projects. All they'd have to do is look next door to Harvey, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the city manager there? No, thank you."
Because this is where we are today.
So then we're doing it backwards.
If that's how you feel, that's fine.
My question basically is, you're working on a timeline. So you have a timeline, you need to hurry up and do this.
Oh, Derek
This is
came
what's
too.
chosen. I don't know about the 100 years, but I'm taking word for it. You said it's 100 years old, it's 100 years old. So it was a shot clock thing where you seen the shot clock going down, you hurry up and need to apply, and this is what we have. Is that just base, the whole circle right there?
Yes.
All right, cool. That was basically my whole question, by the way. It was
Yeah, it's all about get that cash, get that quick cash.
I was trying to get your attention for this.
Yeah, I just had a question. I think it's a good idea what you're doing. It is old and it does need to be replaced. But cost overruns, you know, you never know what's underneath there. Let me ask you, did you do cameras down there to see what condition stuff is in? Or it's like when you open it up, then you really find out what's going on? If there's cost overruns for, maybe you might have to do 10, 15 feet more piping to connect it up with the old, because you find that that part where you want to connect it up with is not good. Is there money in there for cost overruns? Because usually in construction projects, you have a budget set up, but
It's like you've done construction before, you
yeah,
know?
I have.
That never goes exactly to a plan, but that is, yeah, so that is part of, an engineering house estimate is to have some contingency. We don't know what we don't know, but part of the phase one of design is doing all of that survey, right? So doing your utility locate, doing your, survey, doing as much.
Yeah, we're almost done, guys. I have to share Mr. Atchison's comment. I love it. This is perfect. What a great representation of how the city runs. He says, why is there the graphic of the black man on the project history slide that pretends that the residents' voices were heard? We didn't even know about this project. Absolutely. You see, it's all fake. What's up with the buildings in their design? The homes will be replaced with those buildings. Keep it old until the entire infrastructure can be updated. Duh. Mike is right. Yeah, I mean, there may be. I'll have to ask some of my old or some of my other historic, restoration people about that. Their thoughts on infrastructure. You can rarely trust developers, let me tell you, because they're in it with the politicians and they want to make money, and that's what these guys are. Antero Group, they're just consultants. They get paid tons of money to figure out ways that the politicians can get public funds and grants that they can steal from or that they can award to their buddies who are the contractors. And then from that point, we don't know what they do with it, right? Because if they get their friends to bid on a project, we never have competitive bids. If their friends say it costs $3 million to do this project, well, what if it only costs $1 million? I'm just saying, because it's not uncommon. And then let's say the rest of the two some million, we don't know what happens with that because it all gets paid supposedly to the contractors, right? Nothing is stopping them from giving it back to politicians or doing other things, under the table. And Amanda says, good point. They are applying for grants without a long-term vision for Harvey. Exactly. Applying for grants without a long-term vision because it's about the money. Money, 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 money. And Derek says, doesn't seem like Harvey residents have a say. This project's going to happen regardless of what we say. And it shouldn't be like that. But yeah. Yeah. Traffic flow questions, like how long is it going to last? Yep. Was all of Alderman at this plus Harvey? All department heads? Absolutely not, because they announced it the same day. Colby was the only alderwoman. Latanya Rufus. Now she directed the building department under Mayor Kellogg. She said, "What's the purpose of this project?" Now I would like to ask her opinion because she was director for many years. Mike made good points. I agree. Oh, more comments. She is disrespectful and down talk to people. Yeah, that's Korean for you. Hey, Beth. Hey. We're almost done with the video here. Almost.
Survey as we can to get as much information as begin before you begin during the so short answer, yes, the investigation to know what we can today, that was done before design began. And then there's always contingency built in, and that's part of, again, the city won't be doing the bidding, but that is something that IDOT will be reviewing the bids and the contractors, and they should include that. They're a good contractor and have done construction before. They should have contingency, and that is something that is included in our engineering process, meant to have contingency for
Okay, that's good.
life
That's good.
happening.
Okay, because I was thinking in my head, well, we're gonna lose a portion of the project if we run into something that takes up some money that was supposed to be for something else. So we gotta fix this, you know, and so we'll take away this part and it starts shrinking, you know.
It shouldn't, but I don't know what I don't know yet, but it shouldn't, because we do include contingency in every engineering estimate.
I love how they don't have questions or they don't have answers for most of anything, but they sure get paid big bucks. This Antero group, isn't that interesting? They can always take our money, but they can't actually answer questions.
All right, thank you.
I will ask this, as I brought it up about speed bumps before, is that on your guys' end, or is that a city thing that when they construct those?
On adding speed bumps,
That's a city thing.
Yeah.
We did this before, so now.
I was like, I don't think that's.
Oh, that's the first time I've ever heard Korean actually admit, yeah, we did the speed bumps. They do all this shit that we don't like, and they won't even talk about it. It's like, oh, well, you should just, bow down before us. No, we are your bosses. So Harvey residents, come on, you got to get going. We got to hold these people accountable.
The proposed plans include additional speed bumps, but that may be something the city has. Okay.
Yeah, we put them down.
As a way for us to identify the project timeline, when it starts in September, will you all hold a quarterly meeting? Will you all provide a rendering or something we can identify what's been done and what's yet to be completed across the year timeline?
For the construction administration and like how the project
Yeah.
is progressing.
Yeah, so since you said it's gonna kick off in September and it's going to go until September 27.
Yeah, so unfortunately, my scope as the engineer will end with this process, and we'll see how the bidding review goes. As the engineer of record for these plans, we will definitely put in our bid to do construction administration and maybe involved with that. But that would be, I think, if there's additional meeting, something to decide as the city.
So, will IDOT supervise this whole, once they get the contract, identify the contractors, will they then supervise, or will they be over the administration of it?
Construction administration will be part of the, we won't know until
The bid happens.
Yeah, and notice there's so much they won't know until the bid. It's always about the money. I wonder who's going to get the bid.
Could be us, could be another engineering company, could be a separate.
And they can provide updates as needed.
Yes, that's.
So it still has to be shopped around, is what you're telling us?
Yes, it will be bid by IDOT.
So IDOT does periodic bidding where they bid out hundreds of projects, everything from interstate widenings to projects like this, which is going through IDOT process because of the funding, which Queen's talked about, the grant funding. It has to go through IDOT's process. So they do public biddings. So around the end of the summer, towards the early fall, this will be included on one of their bidding packages, looking for any qualified bidder to bid.
So IDOT does the bidding?
So it just has to go through their system and their process because of the grant funding mechanism, just a requirement for the money.
If I could just confirm in short that City of Harvey won't be a part of this bidding process, only the Illinois Department of Transportation.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And even if he says yes, I still don't trust Harvey to stay out of it.
Is that correct? Yes? Okay.
That didn't sound very confident. All right. Well, thank you for joining for that. What did you guys think? Sounds like just that's why I told those aldermen. I was surprised actually that Colby and Tracy voted yes for a lot of the resolutions on Monday. I told them vote no for everything, even the settlement for my FOIA case. Like we already got the documents. The lawyers can get paid their $5,500 later. Wouldn't have been the end of the world. Vote no until they open the books. You should not be getting any more money until we see where you've been putting the money for the past 7 years. But you know what? I'm glad that Miss Corean Davis, we got to see some more of her true colors. I think she's been doing a lot behind the scenes that we don't know about. And she's a horrible city manager. You want to know how I know? Just go drive around Harvey and you know. And you can see that. So yeah, that's about it though. City, that was very horrible, unprofessional, last minute meeting. That's right. Valentine's Day is Saturday. Yay. Hey Beth, hey D Love. Yeah, no meetings, other meetings coming up that I know of tomorrow, so that's good. No Apology says, I'm so confused. $6 million for 2 blocks? Well, Koreans said it was 3 point something, so not 6, but it's still a lot of money. Where's the majority of the money going? Great question. I think there are so many unanswered questions, and you know, I gave Chris and his associates the benefit of the doubt his first term, 4 years. There are many times when I defended him and defended the things that they were doing, including the Harvey Lost Project, and when other people were not happy. And so anything that happened after his first term, after 2023, when he won that re-election, like as far as I'm concerned, ever since then, they all, including Miss Davis here and Ramona Simpson, they all had 4 years. They have 4 years to find their way. Now they're in years, what, 7 or 8 now? 7. Well, 8 years total, right? So I guess maybe we're in the last year, but they don't have any excuses. They had 4 years. They had his whole first term just to get used to being in government. So I don't give these people any grace, because I remember I saw a comment on Facebook, and someone said, well, give Shirley some time, give her a little bit of time because she's new. No, she's not new. She has been in city government since, what did she say, 2015 or so? She's held other governmental jobs, and she's been right at Clark's side the whole freaking time. These people don't deserve any grace. Don't give them grace. So let me know what you guys think about doing a writing campaign. I think that could be really fun. Trying to figure out how we can get these aldermen's attention, because obviously we want people to prepare and run for next year. But, between now and next year, we don't want them just to let Harvey, descend further into chaos. We at least have to stop the bleeding is my view. So come up with some ideas. That's your assignment, everyone, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the replay. Come up with some ideas. How are we going to convey the will of the people to these aldermen that they need to open the books, and they need to hire back our essential workers? They need to do the important things and stop just giving themselves more money to goof around with. So let me know if you have some ideas on that. Oh my goodness me. Oh. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. What did I Google? Oh, yeah, I Googled something else. Michael says the whole council needs to go. No, I understand, and we're preparing for the elections next year. But in the meantime, I was thinking maybe letter writing campaign would be effective. I know in Calumet City, Monet said that to get their aldermen to finally turn around and start voting better for the city, that they had success with a lot of phone calls. I'm pretty sure she's I could check with her again. I thought she said that was one of the ways. You know, residents just calling their alderman, but it was definitely residents contacting, you know, regardless of how they did it, contacting their alderman so much that she said some of them were in tears and they're like, oh my gosh, we can't take this anymore, because they kept hearing from their constituents. That's how it should be. You don't have any rest. I don't have any rest. Guess what? Our reps shouldn't have any rest. They should not be rewarded for raping and pillaging the city. They should feel the pressure of your voice and what you want, because they're your reps. They're your reps. They're our reps. But thanks again to those of you who are able to attend. Thank you, Michael, for standing up with some great questions. Thank you, Colby, for attending and sharing it and videoing. Otherwise, we never would have even known this was going on. I gave them what for, but they are full of crap. Right, exactly. Like I said, you know, they do not care about Harvey. They do not live here. They don't have any investment here, and they don't care. So the only way that these aldermen are going to do anything different is if we pressure them. So that's your assignment. I'm going to leave you for now. I'm going to hop on my TikTok live if anybody wants to say, hey. That's been like my more fun zone, I guess. You know, it's Ryan's Get Chicago on TikTok, but it's fun. We've been meeting some interesting people on TikTok live. So that's it for now. Unless you guys have anything else, you can say bonne nuit to Hubert. Bonne nuit is French for good night. Bonne nuit to Hubert. And maybe as a way, hold on. Give me 1 second here, guys. 1 second. I want to end with some Bad Bunny inspiration. You know, I'm not an expert in Spanish at all, but I just loved his quote that he said in his recent performance. Oops, I have the audio, huh?
Muchas novias, tengo una, mañana otra, pero no hay boda. Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Saludan a Titi, vamos a tirar.
Oh no, wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. Where was it? I thought he said it at the beginning. Where was it? Maybe it was here?
Te envió la invitación, muchacho, deja eso.
Antes tú me pichabas.
Las que se olvidaron ya de mí me gustó. Ey, me la voy a llevar a todas pa' un VIP.
Now I can't find it, you guys. Oh, there it is. Yeah, right there.
Y si hoy estoy aquí en el Super por 60, es porque nunca dejé de creer en mí. Tú también deberías de creer en ti.
And then he said something like, what did he say? I'm trying to translate it, but it's so moving. Like, I never doubted myself. I never stopped encouraging myself. But he's telling you to believe in yourself.
Por el poder que se me otorga.
All right, there you go. Uh-oh. Shooting. Keep us posted, guys. I didn't hear anything, but keep us posted. I was on a conference call. Yes, I didn't hear anything here, but I'm not in North Harvey. Watch out for each other, guys. And I will see you all either on TikTok next or tomorrow. It was about 8 p.m. Oh, yeah. Update us, please. Let us know. Ciao, ciao for now.